Did the WNBA just unleash a monster nobody can stop? Caitlyn Clark stepped into her rookie season as the Indiana Fever's golden ticket, a sharpshooting phenom meant to light up the league. But instead of a warm welcome, she got a brutal initiation, elbowed, shoved and slammed in ways that looked more like a cage match than basketball. Some whispered it was just rookie hazing, others swore it was a personal vendetta to dim her shine. Whatever it was, the Fever had enough. They didn't just build a team around Clark, they forged a fortress of enforcers to protect their star. And this new squad is sending chills through the WNBA. From viral controversies to a roster dripping with champions, here's the untold story of how Indiana turned Caitlyn Clark into an untouchable force, and why the league's about to quake in their sneakers. Let's take it back to 2024, when Caitlyn Clark burst onto the WNBA scene with a spotlight brighter than most veterans could dream of. She was the Indiana Fever's first overall pick, a college legend whose deep threes and no-look passes had fans packing arenas. But the league didn't roll out the red carpet. From her opening tip-off, Clark faced a gauntlet of physicality that felt relentless. Hard screens sent her crashing to the hardwood. Forearms clipped her ribs as she drove. Random, accidental bumps left her sprawling. The numbers paint a grim picture. 17% of all flagrant fouls in the WNBA last season were called against Clark. That's not just rough play, it's a neon sign flashing, "She's the target." One early game saw her take a shoulder to the chest mid-drive, hitting the floor hard enough to hush the crowd. This wasn't basketball, it was a message, and the senders were about to make waves. The Chicago Sky didn't just play tough, they went full villain mode, and the stats back it up. They were behind a staggering 80% of the flagrant fouls against Clark, turning their matchups into a highlight reel of controversy. Angel Reese led the charge, delivering hits that sparked firestorms online. In one viral moment, Reese caught Clark with an elbow as she soared for a layup, sending her tumbling in a heap. X lit up, with fans and analysts debating. Was this defense or something darker? Then came Kennedy Carter, who took a dead ball moment and turned it into a shoulder check that left commentators speechless. The cameras zoomed in, catching Carter's smirk as Clark hit the deck. Was this a strategy to rattle the rookie sensation, or jealousy over her hype? The Sky's plan seemed clear: shake Clark's confidence, break her rhythm, and dull her star. But they miscalculated one critical detail. Clark's response was about to flip the script. Caitlyn Clark doesn't break, she builds. Every hit, every cheap shot, every viral foul only sharpened her edge. After Reese's elbow sent her crashing, Clark bounced up, fixed her ponytail, and splashed a 30-foot three like it was nothing. The crowd roared, and the Sky's bench went silent. When Carter's shoulder check blew up online, Clark didn't whine or point fingers. She calmly sank her free throws, then dropped 22 points and 6 assists, torching Chicago's defense with a stare colder than ice. Game after game, she took punishment that would have rattled most rookies and turned it into fuel. One night, after a brutal screen left her wincing, she answered with a no-look pass that set up Aaliyah Boston for a dunk, electrifying Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Her resilience wasn't just inspiring, it was a warning to the league. The Fever saw their stars fire, and they weren't about to let her fight alone. What they did next wasn't just a roster tweak, it was a revolution. The Indiana Fever didn't just upgrade their lineup, they constructed a fortress to shield their generational talent. This offseason, they went all in, signing a crew of veterans who don't just play tough, they embody it. Natasha Howard, a 3-time WNBA champion and 2019 Defensive Player of the Year, anchors the defense with a presence that screams intimidation. Sophie Cunningham, a sharpshooting Taekwondo black belt, brings a fiery edge that ignites teammates and rattles foes. Brianna Turner, with back-to-back all-defensive first-team honors, turns the paint into a no-fly zone. And Dana Bonner, a clutch veteran with a basketball IQ off the charts, guides the squad with poise. This isn't a team anymore, it's a declaration of war. Try to rough up Clark now, and you're facing a lineup that hits back twice as hard. But one player stands as the cornerstone of this new era. and she's about to rewrite the WNBA's rulebook. Natasha Howard is the enforcer Caitlyn Clark needed from day one, a 6'2" juggernaut who plays like she owns the court. Last season, she averaged 18 points and 7 rebounds, swatting shots and snatching boards with a ferocity that leaves opponents rattled. Her resume? 3 WNBA titles, a Defensive Player of the Year award, and a stare that makes even MVPs second-guess their moves. Picture her in the paint, locking eyes with anyone daring to set a dirty screen on Clark. That sneaky elbow from Reese, Howard's there blocking the lane with a scowl. That blindside hit from Carter? Not happening. Not with Howard patrolling the floor. She's faced down legends like Aja Wilson and Breanna Stewart, never blinking. And now she's Clark's personal bodyguard. But Howard's more than muscle. She's a two-way force, hitting threes to stretch defenses and creating space for Clark's magic. Her arrival sends a clear message. Clark's untouchable now, and she's got a crew to back her up. The rest of the Fever's enforcer squad is a nightmare for any team thinking they can bully Indiana. Sophie Cunningham isn't just a 37.8% three-point shooter. She's a spark plug who thrives in chaos. She'll talk smack, dive for loose balls, and get in the ref's ear when Clark takes a bad hit. Her taekwondo training shows on the court, where she powers through contact and sets a tone of relentless energy. One game last season, she drained 4 threes while guarding an all-star, then celebrated with a wink to the crowd. Brianna Turner, at 6'3" with elite athleticism, is the ultimate paint protector. She ranked second in blocks in 2020 and top 6 in rebounds in 2021. Opponents hesitate when she's lurking, knowing a drive could end in a swat. Dana Bonner ties it all together with veteran savvy, hitting game winners and mentoring Clark off the court. In practice, she pulls younger players aside, breaking down film to sharpen their edge. Together, this crew isn't just protecting Clark, they're building a dynasty, and the WNBA's feeling the pressure. This transformation goes beyond the roster. It's a cultural overhaul that's redefined the Indiana Fever. Last season, they were a soft target, a team opponents could push around without consequences. Clark took hit after hit, fighting through screens and fouls while carrying the franchise's hopes. Not anymore. With Howard's intensity, Cunningham's fire, Turner's lockdown defense, and Bonner's leadership, the Fever are a force that demands respect. Fans are buzzing, filling Gainbridge Fieldhouse to see Clark's deep threes, Boston's post dominance, and Kelsey Mitchell's scoring explosions. But it's the team's new grit that's stealing the show. The front office, led by Amber Cox, didn't just sign players, they sent a message to the league. Mess with our star and you'll regret it. Opponents like Reese, Carter, or even Wilson now face a brutal choice. Play clean or get burned by a squad that thrives on physicality, and the story's just getting started. Let's dive deeper into why this matters. The WNBA's landscape is shifting, and Clark's at the center of it. Her rookie season didn't just bring record-breaking stats, it brought record-breaking attention. Arenas sold out, TV ratings soared, merch flew off shelves. But with that spotlight came tension. Some players, analysts, and even fans grumbled, claiming Clark's hype overshadowed veterans or exposed cracks in the league's culture. Posts on X speculated that her rough treatment stemmed from jealousy. Her endorsements, her fan base, her effortless swagger rubbed some the wrong way. The Chicago Sky's fouls fueled that narrative, turning games into morality plays, where Clark was both hero and target. Yet she never wavered. One viral clip showed her laughing off a hard foul, then hitting a step-back three that left the defender frozen. That's not just skill. That's a mentality that's reshaping the Fever's identity. Now let's talk about the Fever's master plan. Signing Howard, Cunningham, Turner, and Bonner wasn't just about protection. It was about building a contender. Each player brings a unique edge that complements Clark's game. Howard's versatility lets her guard multiple positions, freeing Clark to run the break. Cunningham's shooting stretches defenses, creating lanes for Clark's drives. Turner's rim protection shuts down second-chance points, giving Clark more fast break opportunities. And Bonner's clutch plays, think game-tying jumpers or momentum-shifting steals, take pressure off Clark in crunch time. Together, they're not just a supporting cast, they're a machine designed to maximize Clark's brilliance. One ex-post summed it up. The Fever built a tank around their sniper. Good luck stopping that, and the fans, they're eating it up, chanting Clark's name while waving signs for their new enforcers. But what does this mean for the WNBA's bigger picture? The Fever's moves have sparked debates across sports media. Some analysts praise Indiana for protecting their investment. Clark's not just a player, she's a brand bringing millions to the league. Others argue the enforcer narrative plays into stereotypes, painting the WNBA as too physical when it should celebrate skill. Yet the numbers don't lie. Clark's games drew the highest viewership in 2024, and her matchups against teams like the Sky broke streaming records. The Fever's new roster leans into that drama, promising must-watch battles that'll keep fans glued. Imagine Clark facing Chicago again, only now with Howard glaring from the paint and Cunningham ready to answer. Every foul with a three. That's not just a game, it's a spectacle, and the Fever are banking on it to fuel their championship run. Let's zoom in on a key moment that defines this shift. In a late 2024 game against the Sky, Clark took a hard screen from Reese that left her limping. The crowd booed, expecting her to falter. Instead, she waved off the trainer, hit a pull-up jumper, and then dished a behind-the-back pass to Boston for a layup. The arena erupted, and the Fever's bench leapt to their feet. That moment wasn't just about Clark's toughness. It was a glimpse of what's coming. With their new roster, those hits won't land unanswered. Howard would have stepped in, setting a screen of her own to free Clark. Cunningham would have been in the ref's ear, demanding a call. Turner would have boxed out Reese, denying her the board. And Bonner would have calmed the huddle, keeping the team focused. That's the difference between last season and now. The Fever aren't just reacting, they're dictating the terms. The ripple effects are already showing. Rival teams are rethinking their approach. Sources on X suggest coaches are drilling their players to avoid flagrant fouls against Clark, knowing the Fever's enforcers will retaliate. One post claimed Aja Wilson, a dominant force, is preparing for tougher matchups against Howard, who's guarded her to a standstill before. Even the Sky's strategy may shift. Reese and Carter can't afford ejections if Indiana's ready to capitalize. The Fever's new identity isn't just about protection, it's about intimidation. They're daring opponents to test them, knowing Clark's skill and their muscle make them a nightmare matchup. And the fans are all in, flooding social media with memes of Howard as Clark's bodyguard and Cunningham as her hype woman. So, what's next for this Indiana Fever juggernaut? The 2025 season looms, packed with high-stakes games and nationally televised showdowns. Clark's matchups against Chicago, Las Vegas, and New York will be can't-miss TV, with her enforcers adding a layer of drama that'll keep viewers hooked. The Fever's playoff push last year showed promise, but they fell short in the first round. Now, with veterans like Bonner bringing postseason experience and Howard's championship pedigree, they're eyeing a deep run. Clark's growth is another X factor. She's already a top playmaker, but her second year could see her dominate like never before. One analyst predicted she'll average 20 points and 8 assists, especially with Cunningham's shooting and Turner's defense, freeing her up. The question isn't whether the Fever will compete, it's whether anyone can slow them down. Let's wrap this with a look at the bigger story. Caitlyn Clark's rookie season was a trial by fire, a test of how much a young star could endure. She passed with flying colors, turning every hit into a chance to shine. The Fever answered with a roster that's part bodyguard, part championship blueprint, built to protect their star and demand respect. From the Chicago Sky's villainous fouls to Indiana's enforcer revolution, this is about a team rewriting their destiny. So who's got what it takes to stop Clark and her crew? Will it be Reese's Sky, Wilson's Aces, or an underdog ready to shock the world? Drop your predictions in the comments, smash that like button, and subscribe to stay locked in. The Indiana Fever are coming, and they're bringing a storm nobody's ready for.